G'day there guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. I do hope you enjoyed today's bloody good episode, and with that said, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the barbie. Let's get right into it. Cheers. Posted by user Dazzling P, titled, "Am I the asshole for making my family cancel their vacation because I won't watch their dogs?" So my parents, 82 male and 75 female, asked if I could help them book a much-needed vacation. They also asked me to do the same for my brother, 43, and sister-in-law, 33, because they wanted to take a family vacation in September. My husband, 46, and I, 41 female, can't afford to go because I'm currently out of a job. Even though this would be the first family vacation I will have ever missed, and it made me really sad, I said I would of course help. My mum even mentioned to me that, in a way, it's good because I'd be able to watch my brother's pugs and my parents' chihuahua. Here's the thing about watching the dogs though. It's a 24/7 job that requires me to stay at my brother's house. The dogs are wonderful, but they are very high maintenance. And because of this, I've been telling my brother for nearly 10 years that he needed to hire a dog sitter, because money isn't an issue for him. I've dog sat for them 3 times this past year, varying from 1 to 5 nights. They paid me well, but I don't feel comfortable staying at their house, and I find the round-the-clock care exhausting. My husband and I have 5 cats, and we are no stranger to feeling like our pets are our kids. But we don't have dogs for a reason. Now I'm supposed to be booking this trip for my brother, but he hasn't even asked me about watching the dogs. Sunday at family dinner, everyone's there except my sister-in-law who was ill. My brother was sitting across from me, so I reach out to hold his hand and say that I love him, I love the pugs, but I can't watch them when they go on vacation and that he needs to get a dog sitter. I said it was just too much to ask me to be trapped at their house for 7 nights, and that I've been asking him to hire a dog sitter for nearly a decade. I even offered suggestions and said that I'll help find someone. He starts to get reactive and says that they won't watch my cats anymore. I said that's fine, we have a cat sitter, but I point out that I ask them if they can help. They, on the other hand, did not ask me. My brother finally concedes that it is a lot to ask 7 nights and 5 dogs. Excuse me? Yes, 5 dogs, because his mother-in-law apparently was planning to go too. So now added to the mix are 2 Italian greyhounds. I stay calm, and I gently point out that I felt this way before knowing that there were 5 dogs. Can he imagine how I felt? He seemed to understand. By the time I left dinner, there were hugs and kisses and all was well. I knew that my brother was upset, but he seemed to understand, and I was really proud of putting up boundaries. The next evening, I call my parents to see if they've heard from my brother. Apparently, he called them after he got home from family dinner and was blindsided by me. My sister-in-law was just as upset as him too. They think I'm throwing a tantrum because I can't go on vacation. While yes, that does suck, I told him my real issue is being trapped in their house for 7 nights. Now they are cancelling the vacation because I won't watch the dogs. Am I the asshole for telling them that I won't do it? In the comments, Having Hope 3594 says, "Not the asshole. They are grown people who had plenty of time to find arrangements for their dogs. Didn't they have somebody else to watch the dogs when you all traveled together? Is this a weird ploy to punish you by making you feel guilty or something? This seems reactive." OP replies, "The only time we've all traveled together was for my brother's wedding, which the dogs came to. This would be an international beach trip, which we haven't had in, I guess, over a decade. To be fair, he couldn't go to the last trip in 2015, and I went, but I only had the 1 cat that had no special requirements at the time, so my roommate watched her. So I feel bad for him for not being able to go on the family vacation, although it feels self-induced to me at this point. But I am very emotional, and I can't tell if my judgment is clouded. Not going is his choice. He could find or pay a dog sitter if he wanted. He's blaming you to divert the blame from himself. You are doing what is best for you. This 100%. Our 2 dogs go to their doggy daycare when we go on vacation. I believe everyone is happier. If my dear husband and I travel without our son, my parents take care of all of them at our house. Not the asshole. They can hire a pet sitter. It's not your household to take responsibility for. Edit, I also don't understand why they needed your help to book it. OP replies, oops, I took that part out because I was way over the character limits. I can book like a travel agent and waive my commission so that they can save a few hundred. I realize how awful that sounds in context to this post, but it's easy for me to do, and as someone that loves to do things for others but currently doesn't have the budget for it, it's something I'm happy to do. So they get a discount by not paying you for your services and expect you to watch 5 dogs 24/7 and live apart from your spouse to do so. How much do they usually pay you for the normal 3? Because I bet it's not nearly as generous as they tell you it is. OP replies, so this isn't a super common situation for us, despite what my harping on this for 10 years implies. I went over my character limit, so I couldn't add this bit of context. My brother set the precedent nearly 10 years ago that the dogs could never be alone at night because of separation anxiety. So when he was single and traveling for work, my mum had to stay the night there with the dogs. And since she lived way closer than me, and I had an office job, she would go back and forth to the house every 5 hours to let them out. Back then, I used to say that it wasn't fair to mum and that he needed to hire a dog sitter. My mum loved it because the pug cuddles are amazing and they are good dogs, but I was still vocal that it was way too much to ask mum. Last year, my husband and I bought a house a mile away from my brother, and the dog care has fallen to me because why would I make my mum continue to do that when it's easier for me? The first time I did it, I was extremely anxious, but I didn't complain because it was so my brother and sister-in-law could take a family vacation with her dying father. I had 4 dogs then, and it was $500 for 5 days. To be completely honest, I would not have accepted the money if I hadn't just lost my job. To me, that's what family is for. There was another couple times for 1, and then 3 nights due to a family emergency with my sister-in-law's family, so again, no problem. I've dropped by a couple of times to let the dogs out back to potty when asked. And even recently, there was a day that neither my mum or I were available to let the pugs out when a situation came up, and I specifically told my brother that he needed to have a trusted pet sitter on hand and hire them before he needs them. But this is the first time that I feel like it's completely different and not right for them to ask me to do all of this. It feels like taking advantage, and it feels like when my mum had to stay there when my brother traveled all over again. And I'm not willing to put myself through it for a long vacation when this is exactly the scenario that I've been harping on. I don't think you're the arsehole for making them cancel their family vacation because you didn't make them cancel that vacation. They did it out of spite to make you the arsehole because their hands were pretty much tied. They either had to pay for the pet sitter or they had to leave the dogs home alone. Either way, you're winning because they either get viewed as a terrible person for abandoning their pets, which won't happen, or the dog sitter gets paid for, which is a win for you. But instead, them taking the absolute nuclear option gets to put them in a positive spotlight because you can get scapegoated. And I'm surprised that the rest of your family is on their side, seemingly, and doesn't see how manipulative that is. That's very odd, and I'd say a bit telling as to your position in the family and how the family views you. Tread carefully, not the arsehole. And now, onto the updates. So my brother apologized, and we were having a very good and calm conversation. We were getting to a point where I was willing to make a compromise because I finally felt heard. Then my sister-in-law, who had an attitude the whole time, snappily said, "Okay, so what do we need to do to resolve this?" Things started to get heated because I felt her tension and tried to acknowledge it. I said that I was really hurt by my sister-in-law's actions. I left it out of my OG post, but she was complaining about helping me clean my house before my wedding. I later found out that she told my dad that I had moldy dishes in the sink and that it was humiliating. I said it hurt a lot when I learned that she brought it up again as a part of her argument as to why I should watch the dogs. She sarcastically said, "Oh, so I'm the villain?" I said, "I feel like from what I've gathered from my parents this past week that you think I'm sabotaging this vacation because I'm jealous that I can't go. And if you think that, you really must not know me, and that hurts." And she said with the same rude tone as earlier, "I must not know you because this is 100% what I think." My eyes welled up because I felt like she had just sucker punched me, and she looked at me and said, "Here comes the temper tantrum." I stood up to leave, then I turned around again and said, over everyone yelling my name to calm down, "If you, with all your time, money, and resources, decide to not go on vacation, that's your own decision and not because of me." I got the hell out of the house and sat in my car until my husband came out. She was in my wedding. I have been so happy to have her as my sister-in-law. I have been nothing but loving to her. Now I see that she doesn't give an F about me. I'm gutted. It's clear that she has zero respect for me and probably never even liked me. I'm devastated because my family is everything, and I feel like my relationship with my brother will be forever altered. She is not the person that I thought she was. And now I'm not only not watching the dogs, but I guess I'm also accepting that I don't have a sister like I thought I did. In the comments, Interesting Order 82 says, "Not the asshole. Cut contact with the sister-in-law. They're mad because you won't watch their dogs, and that's on them, not you." I'm just curious about the anger displayed by sister-in-law. Her comments and responses to the conversation would have torpedoed any such discussion with anyone, including Mother Teresa. I hope the rest of the family realizes that sister-in-law is a two-faced asshole and villain to the nth degree. She has decided that she's entitled to OP's assistance. She's not asking for a favor, she's demanding what is already hers. She's offended by OP's disobedience. I'm proud of you, OP. Your sister-in-law wants free service and is showing her true colors. Do not feel bad about the situation at all. If there is a villain, it's not you by any means. That's what I first thought, and then I read the original post and she says that she did pay her well for watching the dogs. I'm just flummoxed how it's such a big deal for them to then pay a sitter, and they're this angry and aggressive about it too. In the original post, OP mentions that they pay well, but lots of comments of OP tried to make her realize that they're paying way below market rates, especially with the requirements they placed on OP. I think you should take a long look at your mother as well. Her comment about it being a good thing that you can't come to a family vacation is very hurtful in my opinion as well. As long as you can do her a favor, your company is not needed. Please stay firm and tend to people who are deserving of you. Yeah, and why was OP the one to do all the trip arrangements when all of the people actually going on the trip are able-minded adults? There's something in the dynamic with OP's mum and sister-in-law that ain't right. I would definitely take a step back from helping them with shit and sharing personal information with them. I'm still of the opinion that they just hate you, OP, and, they've hated you this whole time. You're not a part of that family. Your own mother hates you as well. Why does your own mother resent you? Yeah, it's a good thing that you, my daughter, aren't coming on family vacation. I hate you, and I'm standing by the sister-in-law here, my real daughter. I don't blame you for feeling as though you've been sucker punched in your throat, OP. That would send me to my knees, that's for sure. You're just being abused and used left, right, and center by those closest to you. I'd take this at face value. They have shown who they really are, and I'm going low contact with everyone. No contact with sister-in-law, absolutely. I'm just finding a new group of people to be my family. Christ on a bike, I hope you are dealing well with this situation, OP. I feel terrible for you. Our next post is by a throwaway account titled, "Am I the asshole here for leaving my fiancé after he asked me if he could sleep with a woman one last time?" This might be long, I don't know. I'm feeling a lot. So me, 31 male, gay, and my fiancé, 32 male, bisexual, have been together for 9 years and engaged for 1. We're meant to get married in 2 months. My time with him has been perfect, literally 0 complaints. Honestly, I didn't think that I'd find someone who got me the way that he does. Then the world remembered that it hates me and decided to F my shit up since I had it too good for too long. Last week, my fiancé sat me down and told me that he wanted to discuss something with me and to keep an open mind. Sure. He said since we're getting married, he wanted to know if I would be okay with him having one night where he could sleep with a woman. My heart broke instantly. My dreams and hopes and plans vanished in an instant, and the marriage that I was eager to begin was dead. At the very beginning of our relationship, when he asked to be exclusive, I told him that there will never be anyone else in our life, just us. No one is coming into our bedroom. There will be no cuck fantasies, no Eiffel Towers, nothing. I made it clear that if he ever asked me for anything of the sort, the relationship was over immediately. There will be no conversation about it. It is done. He agreed. He said monogamy was the only thing for him and he doesn't want anyone else. Before I keep going, I do want to explain why I am the way I am. I won't give a lot of details, actually almost none, but I'll give enough to understand hopefully. Between the ages of 8 and 14, I was taken advantage of by really my only friend at the time. When I was 8, he was 15. Only other kid on the streets. My mother was a drug addict and cheated on my father constantly, so she didn't notice anything. My dad was never home because wife was awful to be around, and a kid who stayed in his room alone all the time, so he wouldn't have seen anything to be concerned about anyway. I tried to tell my mother once, but I couldn't even say it before I was yelled at and told to get out of her room, and I never tried to bring it up again. Fast forward to me being a not stupid child, I put pieces together and found out why my dad was never there to help me, why my mum didn't care enough to question why the horny teen was taking me outside for hours, and when I got home, I just wanted to be alone in my room. I put all my childhood issues on cheating. As a result of my fun little quirky younger years, I am borderline. I have anxiety and panic attacks whenever I hear people screaming, and depression, blah blah blah. I have problems. After being with my fiancé for about 1.5 years, I talked to him about my past and why I feel the way I do about things, and he was very understanding, very comforting. Despite it being my story, I had to wipe his tears away a few times. I know he cares for me, I know he loves me, and wants to spend our forever together. Back to present day, I'm in a hotel room alone. Everyone I've told this to has said that I'm crazy and stupid and need therapy, and they don't understand how I can throw it all away over my partner being honest and open with me about something like this. He didn't actually cheat, he just wants to. Lol. He has said that he won't do it. He needs me more than any feeling a woman can give him. I am his everything. He's called me twice since I started typing this and messaged me really sweet things, so I'm at a point where I don't know what I'm doing. I look at the future and I see him. My entire adult life, I've had the mentality of, if they want to cheat, they will. So he's asking me now, and if I say no, he will eventually do it anyway, but won't tell me next time. That is where my decision to leave comes from. He will grow to resent me for denying him the thing that he wants. I don't want to be that person 30 years from now, finding out that my husband has had 50 affairs during our marriage with a bunch of women. When I'm with someone, I'm with them. I don't look at other people. I don't even entertain advances that anyone makes towards me. I don't flirt with anyone else. I'm devoted in every way. People are making me feel crazy for wanting the same energy given back to me. I can't wrap my head around him wanting to kiss someone else, to be an inch away from them and smile, and then start banging. I don't want to think about it, but it's all I'm thinking about. It's been almost 8 days since I left, and it's my only thought. I am losing my mind in a shitty hotel room thinking about the guy that I love, screwing some random woman who doesn't exist. I'm lost. I don't know what to do. I do want to say how amazing he is. He buys me flowers every Friday, he stands up for me when no one else does, he looks for me in every room, he makes me feel like I matter, he makes my greyest days bright and clear, and the smile that I used to fake isn't fake anymore. He's never judged me for the things that I do, he's never made me feel bad for having off days, he just makes me feel loved. My birthday was last month, and he made me a book filled with pictures of us that he's taken over the years, with the last page being blank so that he can add our wedding picture eventually. Above each picture was what he was thinking when he took it, and below is how he was feeling at the time. Part of me is I need constant reassurance that he does love me, so I ask him those things a lot. It means everything to me, and it's my favorite thing that I own. I'm just trying to say that he is really great despite this one thing. He said he will do anything for me to come back. We can push the wedding back and just work on us, or we can call it off completely and just be together. He will never bring it up again, and he is deeply sorry he ever wanted to do it, and I believe him. Time changes people though. I just want an unbiased opinion from someone whose life will not change whatsoever by my decision. They tend to be more truthful. I love him, and when I look at pictures of him, I hear wedding bells, and I see the house that he wants to buy with me and the 2 kids he wants to adopt at some point. I don't want the rehashed, when trust is gone, it doesn't come back, or, you know the answer, leave. I do trust him. I don't trust the things I'm telling myself over and over about what may happen in the future. He has never given me reason to not trust him, but I don't know. Tell me the truth. Do I stay the course, go back to him and give him permission to screw random women and come home to me after with a fake smile and live with him forever? Or do I go back to him and tell him no, he can't cheat and hope for the best? Sorry if I rambled. I'm all over the place mentally. I've deleted a good 7 paragraphs, so this was worse. I really did try to make this readable. If any more information is needed, please ask. In the comments, Advance Effort 8865 says, "Hey, it sounds like you're going through an incredibly tough and emotional situation. Here's my take. First and foremost, your feelings are valid. You have a history that deeply affects your perspective on relationships and trust. It's understandable that your fiancé's request has triggered a lot of pain and fear for you. Option 1, stay the course. You've made your boundaries clear from the start, and it's reasonable to uphold them. If your core values are being compromised, it's important to honor your own needs and mental health. It's not about whether others think that you're overreacting, it's about what you can live with and feel safe and happy with. Option 2, go back and give permission. This option seems to go against your deeply held beliefs and the trauma that you've experienced. It's likely to cause more harm than good to your mental health and the relationship itself. Forcing yourself to accept something you're not comfortable with could lead to resentment and further emotional damage. Option 3, go back, say no, and hope for the best. If you choose to go back and set the boundary that he cannot sleep with someone else, you need to ensure that this is a firm and mutual understanding. It's important to communicate clearly and work together to rebuild trust. This will also require a lot of ongoing, open communication and possibly professional counseling to navigate the underlying issues and rebuild a foundation of trust. Additional steps to consider: 1. Couples therapy. Professional guidance can help both of you navigate this complex situation, understand each other's perspectives, and find a path forward that respects both your needs. 2. Personal therapy. Continue working on your own mental health to ensure that you are making decisions that are best for your well-being. 3. Open dialogue. Have an honest, open conversation with your fiancé about how deeply this has affected you, and listen to his side as well. Understanding each other's feelings can sometimes bring clarity. And 4. Time apart. Sometimes a bit more time apart can help both of you gain perspective on what you truly want and need from the relationship. Ultimately, you deserve to be in a relationship where you feel safe, respected, and loved. Take the time that you need to make a decision that aligns with your values and ensures your well-being. This says it better than I could. I would say at the very least, do not get married right now. Do some soul-searching and think about what you want, not what everyone else wants you to do, including us on Reddit. And now, onto the updates. Okay, I don't know if anyone actually cares about the outcome, but my original plan was to talk to him today, bring up therapy, maybe go back to our apartment or just stay for the rest of my hotel reservation, but that did not happen. I folded. I got drunk as hell on Sunday night, and he called me at about 10:30ish, and I told him where I was because he said he wanted to explain in person. Sober me would have said no to that shit over the phone. Drunk me is a hoe. He came over, and he started explaining, but honestly nailed me to a cross. I will die for the sins I know every single one of you would commit if you could see his face. I don't care, we did shit. After that, he did explain. His best friend, who's always had issues with me, has been trying to convince him for months if he doesn't sleep with a woman again, he will end up cheating on me in the future. He didn't believe it at first, but after a few months, his friend wore him down. I know he's not lying. He showed me texts going back to February, every so often his friend bringing it up. His friend has always not liked me. I don't think he's okay with my fiancé being bi. The first time he introduced me to his friends, his best friend was very standoffish and didn't interact with me. At one point, someone asked if I was into hiking. I am, and she said, "Oh, best friend is also really into it." I said, "That's cool. Do you know any good spots since I just moved here and haven't found any yet?" He said no and started talking to someone else. Okay, sure, dick. There was a bunch of other little shit over the years, like always bringing up his ex-girlfriend in front of me, blah blah blah. You get the gist. I think he knew that I'd leave if my fiancé asked me for this. My fiancé said he doesn't want to do it and he wanted me to say no and that we would move on. Wedding is still on hold. I have the ring back, it's on a chain around my neck. I want therapy, and I'm still with him. Too many of you convinced me in private DMs with your personal stories about how helpful it was in your relationships. You wore me down. I also want to know what a paid professional thinks about his best friend, because honestly, I'm done with him. I don't want him at my wedding, I don't want to see his face, I don't want him to be my fiancé's best man. Sorry to disappoint, I know a lot of you were calling for his head. I was in the same mindset for most of my life until I was put into the shoes that I am in now. It's hard. Trying to throw that love out the window and leave is hard. It was also a misunderstanding, so I overreacted anyway. I do want to thank you all. I expected my post would be like many others. Get a few replies and that's it. I got a lot more than that and most were helpful. Some were jokes, some were just trying to convert me to be straight, and some were just trying to gaslight me. Thank you for the actual advice, and I'm sorry so many people related to my struggles. I expected a few, but I got at least 100 DMs talking about their trauma and how it's affected them in their adult lives and how they think that I should move forward. Bittersweet, but I'm glad that I wasn't alone in my struggles. For the questions, are you in therapy? Yes, I'm in individual therapy. Have been for years. I'm also on meds, mood stabilizers, benzos, and antidepressants. Therapy only goes so far. I know the post made me sound kinda psychotic, but I also left all of my meds at the apartment, so I was on day 8 of clean living and I skipped my last therapy appointments. I never claimed to make good decisions. Is there another woman? No. Why would you get with a bi man when this is pretty common? This is not pretty common in my opinion, and you're biphobic. I don't have any issues with his sexual orientation. If anything, I like that he's not completely gay, and no, I will not elaborate on why. Why didn't you just talk to him? Because if he said that there was another woman that he was looking at, I would have found the nearest bridge and YOLO'd off of it. What kind of friends would say that shit to you? They're his friends, really. When I moved here in my early 20s, I met him quickly. Less than a year when I got here, we went on a date. He introduced me to his friends, and his friends became my friends. I would hang out with them without my fiancé and vice versa. In hindsight, I don't think that they were being malicious. They've always been nice and welcoming, excluding that one person. They just liked seeing us together and didn't want to see us apart. After almost a decade of seeing a couple, and I can understand that they would want to see us last. I don't have any negative feelings towards any of them. Are you going to bring up moving? A few people asked after I brought up what he would have to do to get me back immediately, and I said move. No, I won't bring it up, I think. I do want to. I'd love to be closer to his family since I don't have any, and I love being around them. They all live in Seattle, and we're in Boston. Don't get to see them much. If I do bring it up, I might wait till this situation clears up completely. Why are you denying who he is? I'm not. He can jerk off to women, I don't care. He can't touch them though. How can you throw 9 years out the window over a question? It's the one question I asked him not to bring up. I thought I made that clear in my post. I can overlook a lot of things, and I do, but that one thing, I can't. I still can't. If he was serious about it, I don't think I would stay. I'm not going to let him walk outside, screw a woman, and come back with cookies in my hand and a smile on my face. Did that feel good, baby? Here's a cookie and some milk. Be for real. You may be walked on in your life, But that is not me though. Do some roleplay in the bedroom. He might just want a feminine aspect. OP says, I will not upload a picture of myself as it defeats the purpose of making a throwaway account. However, I'm 6'4", weigh 230-ish pounds, I work in a garage, and I've spent 15 hours a week in the gym for the last 7 years, and I have scars all over my body with a few on my face. My skin is not soft, and I look like if I meet you in a dark alley, I'll shank you. I'm not feminine. I think he'd laugh if he saw me walk out in lingerie and a wig. I would too, to be honest. That's it for now. I might update after a bit of therapy, but probably not. I don't know. I don't think many will care after they read that I didn't chastise him. Thank you again for all the actually helpful advice. I didn't expect any of it, but I'm very grateful. Edits. Y'all judged the F out of me for not demanding he drop his lifelong best friend. I don't care. We talked last night, I brought up my issues, and he said he was leaning towards cutting him off entirely anyway. They are no longer friends. Y'all can stay on your toxic relationships, making demands and ultimatums. I will not be doing any of that though. I'm not a doormat. Y'all genuinely sound bitter that I'm not alone like you are, and I don't know, argue with the wall. In the comments, throwaway sad wife 123 says, and why isn't your fiancé dropping his supposed best friend like a hot potato? If you want to continue the relationship, you do you, but I would not continue to do so with this so-called friend being a negative influence on your life. I don't know why your fiancé hasn't done that already. The fact that it's up for debate for him being your significant other's best man when he actively tried to get him to sleep with a woman is mind-boggling. Therapy. Dump the friend, wedding on pause for all of this, figure out why your significant other allowed him to be manipulated in the first place. Good luck. OP replies, I don't want to tell him too. It's a thing that I used to do with isolating people, and I don't want to do that to him. I'm hoping he'll just tell me why and do it himself, but I think therapy will make him realize the actual reason. Thank you. I'm not a doormat, the doormat exclaimed defensively. To be honest, OP sounds manic in the updates, and it's bad to be off his meds and skipped therapy. He is not okay at all, and his fiancée is all too comfortable to weasel his way in thanks to that. And that's where I'm going to end today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!